Good morning. Actually, it's afternoon now, right? It's 1 o'clock. I wanted to do a post on this as fast as possible because I just wanted to share some thinking on this because this came about from an idea about mesh networks about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. I was thinking about, well, if we have internet problems and ISP is going to be restrictive and it's going to be on a government. I think it started in my mind when we had the big bill about reversing internet uncoupling of the ISPs, where it's like the Privacy Act, where it like throttles you. They can basically decide on which part of the internet connection you pay for on the ISP end. I can't think of the name of it right now. I've just been in full on like client mode this morning. But anyway, it got me thinking about mesh networks, right? Which, just to give you a little bit of an overview, I should have probably put this first. Mesh networks are an idea of they're a resilient network because you're relaying packets from one part of the node to another node. So the node basically becomes this kind of organic growing, a node connects to another node, and if a node's like 5 kilometers away, then it can see it, can talk back there and basically pass messages on. So it's like having like a pen pal 2.0, right? And what makes this extremely powerful is that you can take these mesh networks and you can deploy them and then have this relay from a relay to another relay to another relay. There's mesh networks all over the world like popping up, and there's big ones actually in New York City, which I've been looking at, and I've been really surprised about how much backhaul, how much data they've actually got to spread around the network. So to give it the name, a fully mesh network is where each node is connected to each other node in the network. So I was thinking, surely from a crypto point of view, for selling things on a local level, and this might actually also be something that DStores looks into, doing DStores on a local level, because doing social media and strategy around local level selling to people in your road, your street, your village, that's super interesting to me, especially when you're doing offline transactions but spread over a mesh network, over a wide area network that you deploy or you pay for and you roll out, putting these things high up on buildings so they've got good coverage, maybe even solar powered. There's lots of different angles for this. So this stuff gets me excited because you're kind of detaching yourself at this point from the things that constrict you, which is like needing to have a backhaul, an ISP to be able to do it. So there's one cool company that I've always been looking at is GoTenna. They've got these great little things. It started off, I think, as a bit of a gimmick of like, you're out hiking with your friends, you've got no connectivity, there's a couple of you, and you like wear these little radio units that attach to your backpack. They probably last about 24 hours, probably longer than that, I don't know. You pair the GoTenna thing to your phone, it has an app, and then the app is a little bit like an instant messenger, right? But it doesn't use the internet, it doesn't use cellular, it uses radio. It uses VHF, so very high frequency radio. And on these base models ones, you can be roughly out of cell service and out of Wi-Fi range of up to 4 miles in an open area. So what happens is that you're basically connected over VHF, encrypted by the way, and you can send messages to each other. I'm here, I'm back at the van, yada yada, I'm down at the pool, I'm swimming, whatever. Now the more people who have these, the more range is extended on the mesh network. So if you imagine like line of sight, for instance, if you had like 5 people, you might be able to like go from 4 miles to 8 miles to 12 miles. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's a mesh. You're part of a bigger mesh. So if you wanted to send a message to the person at the far end, what would happen is that message would go through each one of those nodes and relay on. You get what I'm saying? So one of the big things that GoTenna have been doing, and by the way, GoTenna have a pro version of this, which is super hardcore. Like these things they can actually put on drones. Now think about that, especially with the fires that we've just had in California. They can send these drones up in the air and just provide like a in-time mesh network for the firefighters to use when there's no cellular or downtime or anything. Like that's some serious shit right there. These pro versions, obviously they're a lot more money, but they go a lot bigger distance. And there's also like a SDK, so you can create applications. So that got my head ticking about, all right, what do we have that doesn't cost anything in transaction fees and is relatively low latency with like 3 seconds to get a transaction confirmation. Ding, Steam. So let's go back to the original thing anyway, which was Zero Cryptid wrote about it. TX Tenor, they've been working out a way to use their mesh network devices, and they have a new version of their GoTenna now, using a wallet called the Samaru wallet. I think it's supposed to be Samurai, but I don't think that's how you spell Samurai. One of the best wallets out there recently announced that sending Bitcoin without a connection to the internet will be possible in the short future. Yesterday, they delivered that promise using TX Tenor device. So first of all, this is what this company looks like. It's a wallet, a Bitcoin wallet for the streets. Keep your transactions private, your identity masked, and your funds secure. These guys have got a lot of stuff going on. They're the first full BIP47 implementation. They've got Ricochet in there, increased fungibility and thwart. I love that word, thwart. Blockchain snoops and spies, trusted nodes, push transactions through your personal node, remote SMS commands. Like, they're doing some crazy cool shit. Like this wallet is gonna blow up in a very short time, I think. So they've done a big report about it. I suggest you go and read that at Zero Cryptid and what it involves. But basically, it's about sending transactions, Bitcoin transactions, over a relay. So there's a guy here called Coinshaw. I decided to test it over the weekend. I sent a Bitcoin transaction to a relay. So it's obviously has backhaul like 12 kilometers away. So at some point, you're going to have to connect to the wider web. But in your little mesh, that might be a local town or village, which I'm going to get into in a minute. With no cell network or internet connection, here's a tweet storm about how I used GoTenor and Samaru wallet to do it. And then there's a whole bunch of like Twitter things there and people like connecting these together. I think this is going to go viral really, really quickly. I think people are going to start to really wake up to mesh networking. There's a whole piece on Bitcoinist as well. Prepares for internet-free Bitcoin transactions with TX Tenor launch. I think this is going to put TX Tenor's stock through the roof. I think the pro versions, people are going to be jumping all over that. And just to give you a proof of example of a model, I've been thinking about this for well over a year now. I mean, it's like the Bankso account I set up on Steem. I haven't done anything with it yet, like 9 months ago. So joined December 2017 because I was thinking about this for 2018. Obviously, we had a terrible not terrible, but like we've had a bear market, so I've not been able to adapt and do things and put things in place. I've not had the finances and money to be able to go and invest in this particular company I want to go and this co-working setup in Banksco. But I set up the the Steemit account specifically because at some point I want to do it, and the reason why is that's how big Banksco is right now. I haven't got the 500 meters is like, if you see this bottom right hand corner, 500 meters, I can't even show you that on the map, but basically it's an area that I think you could quite easily set up a mesh network in this place. They've already got an established co-working there in Banksco. It's been there for probably a couple of years now, 2-3 years, maybe longer actually, and they've recently turned it into a co-op so people can buy into it, and has obviously an interesting economical setup because it has like winter skiing, and then the rest of the time I presume it's reasonably quiet because people only go for the skiing component. And that gets me excited because I just want somewhere where I can co-work from, not all the time, just travel in, maybe be there for a month or 3 months. And then gets me inspired about this and excited about it is that they've already got skin in the game in terms of Banksco. They know about them. And then rolling a project out like this where you've actually got a whole town that runs on solar powered mesh, and you can do digital transactions across the whole of the town. How many bloggers can you get here? How many people can you get like who are plumbers and engineers and house sitters and security? You know what I mean? There's like an economy there, a local distributed meshed powered economy powered on Steem. I mean, you could do it on a faster transaction, but I think for the size of this, for the amount of people that you would have in this experimental phase, I think it would be enough. So super excited that they've managed to get it working. If you want to check it out, do check out the links. I put the links all on the bottom of this post. It's exciting to see that they've got it running. I definitely got to get my hands on one of these GoTenor mesh just to give it some real world tests, right? Because that's the next thing, is to get a real world test of it. And also the next stage is, can I turn this GoTenor Pro into a enclosed solar powered, like not going to get covered in moisture system that can be like put at the top of an aerial mast, for instance, on the top of a building, and will that work for a long period of time? Or do we have to go into using different hardware, maybe Intel NUCs or something like that? This seems like the way to go, and these are like $500. It sounds a lot, but actually to have a off the grid mesh network capable device to be able to TX and send things to each other off the grid, effectively off the cellular or phone grid at least. That's exciting. And now that we've actually got this Bitcoin offline transactions working through it as well, that could open the doors very easily to other people messing around with this SDK and these mesh networks, because mesh networks needs to happen. I've seen many things over the years about it in terms of range. They have these big range parties where they go into the middle of deserts and use like 1 milliwatt or 1 watt to do like 100, 200 miles. But we need now the apps, a bit like Steem, where over the last year we've seen dApps come into it. We need the apps on the mesh networks to activate the next level, which is the economies, and using crypto to do that as well. So really exciting. Do check it out. I just wanted to share it with you while I was having my lunch. I will catch up with you soon. Take care. Bye. Drifting